If we don't end up married, was this all for nothing? That is the question haunting the back of your mind. It wakes you up at 3 a.m. It sits heavy in your chest when you see them post a photo with someone else, or when the silence between you stretches from days into months. You have touched a depth of intimacy that defies language. You have felt a recognition so ancient it rattles your very bones. And yet, here you are, alone. The pain you feel, that agonizing cognitive dissonance, comes from a single, innocent mistake. You're trying to fit a supernova into a Tupperware container. You're trying to force a galactic, multi-dimensional expansion of consciousness into a domestic box shaped like a mortgage, Sunday dinner, and joint tax returns. And because the supernova won't fit in the box, because the sides of the box are melting from the heat, you have convinced yourself that you have failed. But what if the box was never the point? What if union isn't a relationship status? Today we are going to deconstruct the myth of marriage as the ultimate spiritual finish line. We are going to relieve the pressure you have placed on this connection, and perhaps, for the first time in years, let you breathe. Let us look deeply into the anatomy of the pain you are feeling right now. It is a specific kind of heaviness, one that sits in the center of your chest and wakes you at 3 a.m. It is the pain of cognitive dissonance. You have touched a depth of intimacy that defies language, a recognition so ancient it rattles your very bones. And yet, here you are, sitting in silence, perhaps blocked, perhaps ignored, wondering if you made it all up. You're asking yourself if the connection was real, why it did not lead to the outcome you were promised. The suffering you are enduring is not actually caused by the connection itself. The suffering is caused by a map that does not fit the territory. You're trying to navigate a quantum spiritual phenomenon using a map designed for a societal contract. We need to look at this analytically to understand the mistake that has been made, not by your heart, but by your conditioning. We live in a society that has given us only one script for love. The script is simple and linear. Boy meets girl, they fall in love, they move in together, they marry, and they find safety. This is the script for a life partner. A life partner is essential for the survival of the species. Historically and biologically, this role is based on compatibility, shared values, and nervous system regulation. It is designed for safety. It is a container where resources are accumulated, children are raised, and taxes are filed. It is a logical, grounded arrangement meant to protect the ego and the body. It is a beautiful thing, but it is a terrestrial thing. It is built on the foundation of predictability. But what you have encountered is not a life partnership, at least not in its current form. You have encountered a soul partnership. A soul partner does not come to bring you safety. They come to bring you truth. And truth is rarely comfortable. When you meet this person, a process of quantum entanglement occurs. You recognize them not because they fit your checklist of a compatible spouse, but because they are your mirror. They reflect the parts of you that have been hidden, suppressed, or unhealed. This connection was never designed to fit into the box of domesticity immediately. It was designed to trigger an awakening. The friction you feel, the chaos that seems to consume the dynamic, is not a sign of failure. It is the sign of a system engaging in rapid evolution. The error occurs when you attempt to apply the rules of a life partnership to a soul partnership. You are looking for safety, consistency, and a linear progression toward marriage. You are looking for a Sunday dinner companion, but the energy between you is a supernova. You're trying to fit a supernova into a Tupperware container. Because the supernova will not fit, and because the heat of it is melting the plastic sides of the container, you have convinced yourself that you have failed. You think the love is broken because it does not look like the marriages you see on social media. You are trying to force a galactic, multidimensional expansion of consciousness into a box shaped like a mortgage. We must also look at this through the lens of psychology and the nervous system. The person you view as running away, the one we might call the unawakened counterpart or the avoidant soul, is often acting out of pure biological survival. They are not running because they do not love you. They are running because the connection threatens to dismantle the identity they built to survive in this world. Their nervous system perceives this level of vulnerability as a threat to their existence. When you, the anxious heart, try to soothe this by demanding the structure of marriage or commitment, you are actually turning up the heat. You are asking them to lock themselves in a room with the very fire that terrifies them. You chase the label of union because you believe that if you can just get the title, if you can just get the ring, the chaos will stop. You think the external structure will stabilize the internal storm. But the chaos is the point. The chaos is the alchemical fire burning away everything you are not, so that you can become everything you are. If you measure the success of a spiritual awakening by whether or not you possess a wedding ring, you're using the wrong metric. You're measuring the depth of the ocean with a plastic ruler. The tragedy is not that you aren't married right now. The tragedy is that you are missing the expansion happening within you at this very moment because you are mourning a future that has not happened yet. You are so focused on the container that you are missing the light. We have to understand that the soul does not care about our societal timelines. The soul cares about growth. This person was sent to break open the shell of your ego, and they have succeeded. That pain you feel is the breaking of the shell. It is necessary. If we can stop looking at the lack of a relationship status as a failure and start seeing it as the necessary space required for two massive stars to form without colliding and destroying one another, we can find peace. You are not waiting for a text back. You are in a gestation period of your own becoming. The silence is not a punishment. It is a classroom. And until we learn the difference between a connection built for safety and a connection built for evolution, we will continue to suffer the pain of trying to tame a wildfire. So, if the ultimate goal is not a wedding ring, what is it? If we take away the societal finish line, where are we running to? We must rewrite the dictionary of your desire. We must look back to the wisdom of the ancients, who understood something that modern society has conveniently forgotten. The alchemists, the mystics, and the early psychologists all spoke of a great union. They called it the hieros gamos, the sacred marriage, But somewhere along the line, we misinterpreted the text. We looked at these ancient teachings through the lens of a Disney fairy tale. We thought the sacred marriage meant a wedding between a man and a woman, a ceremony with flowers and vows and a legal contract. We externalized a process that was always meant to be internal. Psychologically, Carl Jung understood this better than anyone. He recognized that the ultimate task of the human psyche is not to find a missing half in the external world, but to integrate the missing halves within the self. The hieros gamos is the union of the masculine and feminine energies within your own soul. It is the marriage of your logic with your intuition, your action with your stillness, your protective boundaries with your open heart. This is the true union. The person you are grieving, this catalyst you have met, is not the destination. They are the map. We often confuse the finger pointing at the moon with the moon itself. This person is the finger. They are pointing you toward a wholeness that you have been seeking outside of yourself for your entire life. Consider the specific dynamics that cause you so much pain. The behaviors that trigger you are not random. They are precise, laser-guided reflections of your internal world. If your counterpart is avoidant, running from intimacy and hiding from deep connection, they are holding up a mirror. They are showing you the part of yourself that is avoiding your own power. They are reflecting the part of you that does not believe it is safe to be fully seen. If they are silent, ghosting you, and refusing to communicate, they are mirroring the part of you that has silenced your own intuition for years. They are showing you where you have abandoned yourself. By projecting this split onto them, you remain a victim. But when you take back the projection, you become the alchemist. You realize that you do not need to change them to find peace. You need to integrate the part of you that they represent. This is the hard truth that brings true liberation. The union you crave, that feeling of finally coming home, of resting, of absolute completeness, can never be given to you by another human being. It is chemically impossible. Even if you married them tomorrow, even if they moved in and promised you forever, the void would return within 6 months. You would be lying next to them, wearing the ring, and you would still feel that aching emptiness if you have not married yourself first. You cannot fill a spiritual hole with a physical person. You're trying to quench a thirst for the divine with salt water. Let us try a thought experiment. It is terrifying, but it is necessary. Imagine for a moment that you never marry this person. Imagine that the physical reunion never happens in this lifetime. Take a breath and let that fear rise up. Look it in the eye. Now ask yourself the question again. If you never marry them, but because of them, you learned to set boundaries that honor your worth, was it for nothing? If because of the pain of their absence, you were forced to heal the father wound that has plagued you since childhood, was it for nothing? If because of this catalyst, you found your voice, your art, your connection to God, and your purpose on this planet, was it a waste of time? Or was the relationship simply the fuel for your own becoming? This is the paradigm shift. The connection served its primary purpose the moment it woke you up. The contract was fulfilled the moment your heart cracked open and the light got in. Anything that happens after that, the coffee dates, the shared home, the growing old together, is a bonus. It is the cherry on top of the sundae. But it is not the sundae. You are the sundae. You are the cake. You are the main event. When you grasp this, and I mean truly grasp this in your nervous system, the energy shifts. The desperate grasping stops. The vibration of waiting dissolves. You stop treating them like a life raft in the middle of a storm, and you start treating them like a sovereign soul on their own journey. Ironically, this is often the exact moment when the physical dynamic begins to shift, because you are no longer broadcasting the frequency of lack. You are no longer demanding that they complete you. You are standing in your own fullness, radiating a signal of wholeness. And in the laws of physics, in the laws of love, like attracts like. You cannot attract a king if you are acting like a beggar, waiting for scraps of attention. You must become the union you seek. Once you realize you are the destination, the waiting is over, because you have already arrived. Intellectually, everything we have discussed makes sense to you. You are an intelligent being, and you can grasp the concepts of quantum entanglement and psychological mirroring. But emotionally, you are likely still hurting. There is a vast distance between understanding a concept with your mind and integrating it into your nervous system. You wake up and the silence is still loud. You check your phone and the screen is still blank. How do we bridge this gap? How do we move you from a state of passive waiting into a state of active living? We need to make 3 specific internal shifts. These are not just changes in habit, they are changes in your energetic signature. The first shift is what we call decoupling the narrative. You have innocently conflated 2 things that do not necessarily go together. You have conflated love with possession. You tell yourself a story that is causing you immense suffering. The story is, if they loved me, they would be here. If they recognized this connection, they would be calling me. Because they are not here, they must not love me, or perhaps I was wrong about the whole thing. This is a false equation. Psychology teaches us that human beings are complex. People can love deeply. They can yearn for you with every fiber of their being and still be governed by terror, trauma, or obligation. We must separate the energy of the connection from the behavior of the person. The energy is real, it is undeniable, but the behavior is a symptom of their current unhealed state. It is a defense mechanism. When you decouple these 2 things, you stop gaslighting your own intuition. You can say to yourself, I know what I felt was real, and I accept that their behavior is currently incompatible with a partnership. You honor the soul connections, but you release the human expectation. This brings immediate relief because you no longer have to invalidate your own heart to make sense of your reality. The second shift is a move away from the waiting room. Energetically, many of you are living in a waiting room. You are keeping a specific seat open in your life. You are holding space for their potential. You might be delaying renovating your house because you are not sure if you will move. You might be refusing to date other people because you feel it would be a betrayal. You are keeping a chair empty at your table. But here is the paradox. You believe that by holding this space, you are being loyal. In reality, you are creating a vacuum of stagnation. Energy flows where there is movement, not where there is waiting. A stagnant life is not attractive to a high vibrational soul. If you are sitting in the dark, waiting for them to bring the light, you will wait forever. You must fill the empty chair. Fill it with your passion. Fill it with friends who light you up. Fill it with a new project or a new purpose. Paradoxically, when you fill your life so completely that you no longer need them to occupy that chair, you become magnetic. You become a vortex of life force. You are no longer a person waiting to be rescued. You are a person who is so alive that others have to level up just to meet you. The third and final shift is the internal vow. We spoke of the sacred marriage as an internal process. Now I want you to make that practical. I want you to write your own vows. Do not write them to the person who is absent. Write them to yourself. We spend years waiting for someone else to say the words we are desperate to hear. We want them to promise to cherish us, to protect us, to listen to us. But have you made those promises to yourself? Commit to being the partner to yourself that you want them to be. If you want them to cherish you, you must cherish yourself. If you want them to listen to you, you must stop ignoring your own gut instincts. If you want them to provide for you, you must create your own abundance and safety. Become the union you seek. This is not just a poetic sentiment. This is physics. Like attracts like. You cannot attract a king if you are treating yourself like a beggar waiting for scraps of attention. You must occupy the throne of your own life first. When you do this, you change the signal you are broadcasting to the universe. You signal that you are complete. You signal that you are worthy. And whether that person returns to match that frequency, or whether someone entirely new enters your life who can meet you there, is no longer the point, because you will have already found the love of your life. It is you. So let us return to the question, if you don't end up married, was this all for nothing? Only if you stay asleep. If you remain a victim of the story, waiting for a savior to choose you, then yes, you have missed the point. But if you used this fire to forge a version of yourself that is unbreakable, if you use this longing to find God within your own chest, if you become a woman who knows her worth so deeply that she needs no external validation to prove it, then you have won. You have achieved the union. The ring is just metal. The marriage certificate is just paper. But the awakening? That is eternal. Don't trade the eternal for the domestic. Hold the standard high. If they can meet you in that space of sovereignty, wonderful. If not, thank them for the wake-up call and continue your ascent. You are the destination. Welcome home.